Hello and welcome back to Tricolor Gaming with me, Fletcher. And today I want to go over my thoughts of the final 2 episodes of Dinosaur with Stephen Fry to finish off my thoughts about the show. If you haven't seen my other parts, I suggest that you go and watch those now, and don't forget, if you're new here, to give us a like and subscribe for more from us at Tricolor Gaming. Now, unlike my reviews of episode 1 and 2, this won't be an in-depth review of the final 2 episodes of the program. I'm just going to combine those into one video and summarize the elements that I think are particularly noteworthy, because a lot of what I want to say here is basically a repeat of what I've already said about episode 1 and 2. But at the end, I am going to have a discussion about a few of the thoughts I have having seen all of the episodes in this series. So let's round up what we have with episode 3 and episode 4. Do we have terrible CGI? Of course we do. Let's look at some of the worst examples. Do we have misuse of Ark Survival Evolved models in the episodes? Oh yes, there is plenty of that. Repeated use of the pterosaur model, and they even reused the stegosaurus model in episode 4. You know, the one with 4 rows of plates and 6 spikes on the tail. Do we have stupid science stunts? Yep. We have solid steel T-Rex teeth breaking bricks, because that's totally actual science, right? Do we have incorrect or deceptive information? We do. We have a few pretty big ones here. We have an estimation that at any one time there were at least 20,000 T-Rex wandering around. Where on earth does that estimation come from? How do they arrive at that figure? Nobody knows. It's just a random figure the episode wants to state. We have them using an old Spinosaurus model from 2001. It looks no different to the Jurassic Park model, and anyone who knows anything about dinosaurs knows that in the past 20 years, Spinosaurus has a radically altered shape. So they're using an outdated design here. They talk about the T-Rex and dinosaur colours as if they're fact, as opposed to just completely made up. They even do a repeat of confusing subfamily and families of dinosaurs with genesis of dinosaurs, showing a picture of Ankylosaurus and Stegosaurus on the same screen and in the script, stating that early Ankylosaurs lived at the same time as Stegosaurus. Maybe primitive ankylosaurs did live at the same time as Stegosaurus, but Ankylosaurus itself did not. So again, we have a misuse of the words, a misuse of the genus of the dinosaur and the family of the dinosaurs here. This is all pretty bad stuff, but they do make some very slight improvements.
Oh my God!
I know, right? Shock horror, they've actually improved a few things. Let's discuss a few of those improvements. Firstly, they discuss the T-Rex only being a scavenger argument, and to my surprise, they actually give a detailed explanation. They look at the evidence on both sides of the argument, and finally we have a paleontologist on screen who says the very obvious thing that Jack Horner wants to ignore, that every single predator is opportunistic and will scavenge when available. At last, a paleontologist with common bloody sense. We also have in episode 3 the very first use of the phrase, "we don't know for sure." Again, at last, someone being honest about the science. And in episode 4, we have the repeated use of the phrase "could have," which again is much better writing and more truthful to the facts than in previous episodes. So again, improvement. However, saying there have been improvements to this program is a bit like saying, well, the mess that used to be my arm after it got stuck in an industrial grinder has finally stopped bleeding. It doesn't change the fact that the show is, on the whole, well, I'll let Stephen Fry state it for himself.
Is I'm going to use the word, a turd.
So with all of the program finished now, there's a few things I wanted to discuss in more detail about my thoughts having seen all of these episodes. The first thing I want to ask is, who was this actually aimed at? Because I seriously can't figure it out. Is it supposed to be aimed at children? Well, not really, because the discussion of the science might cause children to switch off, and some of the terminology being used in each episode is not exactly child-friendly. But if this is a show aimed at adults, then the poor CGI and the incorrect science and the poor writing and acting will equally make them turn off. Reviews I've seen online lambast the show for being too boring even for children addicted to dinosaurs, and put a lot of the blame on Stephen Fry's poor acting. So who exactly was the intended audience for the show? Because I can guarantee that most people who are interested in dinosaurs probably would have seen far better made programs. The second thing I want to discuss is, why has Channel 5 even made this? Next to shows like Walking with Dinosaurs or Prehistoric Planet, this program looks like a village idiot amongst a family of geniuses. And with Prehistoric Planet Series 2 due out in May, this documentary is going to get easily overshadowed. Its generally poor quality also ensures poor reviews. Online at least, there are some really amusing reviews out there. Seriously, really funny newspaper reviews that are actually positive about this program. So it's almost like Channel 5 wasted the money they invested in this, and perhaps it shows the lesson that if you're going to make a documentary like this, you can't just do it on the cheap. You have to give it the time and the money it deserves. But both of these things are minor compared to a big issue for me. Let me get a little present day here. More and more leading documentaries and factual shows are being created by streaming services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Apple. These streaming services are more than happy to invest a lot of money in these programs, and we've seen that with shows like Prehistoric Planet, Clarkson's Farm, and others. But there is a problem here. In the UK alone, poverty, especially child poverty, has been an expanding problem. Brexit, COVID, and the problems caused by the Ukraine war has resulted in considerable social problems. And the growing damage to families and their income means simply that fewer families have the disposable income to put towards these streaming services. Now, Walking with Dinosaurs, Walking with Beasts, Walking with Monsters, and Prehistoric Park were all on the basic UK TV channels that everyone has access to. This means these programs could reach a very wide audience. However, now, most of these big documentaries are on streaming services, and it seals them behind a paywall. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing or a good thing, it is just a trait of our current digital age. But it does mean that Channel 5 has more to answer for the product they put out. This is one of the few documentaries that is available to everybody, regardless of their economic position, and they created a product that is not only substandard in terms of production quality, but also misrepresents the truth of the science, misrepresents its animals, and often uses deceptive tactics. Again, like I said last time, it comes down to having a genuine passion for the subject. Walking with Dinosaurs helped to establish my interest in dinosaurs beyond any measure. It drove me to read more, to watch more. It inspired me to look at the science more than just the animals as toys in my toy box. Also, as a trained teacher, documentaries can be powerful tools for expanding knowledge and creating interest in a subject. But also as a teacher, documentaries that are made as bad as this one results in the establishment of fallacies and errors that we, teachers, have to remove. It's why people still think the Titanic was swapped with the Olympic, even though there's any number of reasons why that's total horseshit. But because it was a documentary with so-called experts, people trust it. And it's the same problem with this documentary. It has so-called experts, so it must be trustworthy, right? If you're going to make a factual documentary, you have the responsibility to present the most accurate information possible. Dinosaur with Stephen Fry is an example of what a documentary should not be. It is, as Mr. Fry said,
I'm going to use the word a turd.
Now, with that awful program relegated to the dustbin of history, for me at least, let's discuss something happier. I want to go back and do a fully retrospective review of all the Walking With shows, starting with Walking With Dinosaurs. These will be fairly large videos as I want to go through them in some detail. I aim to have the first part made by around April time, so please keep an eye out for that. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the final 2 episodes of this frankly disgusting TV show and what your opinion of the show overall is. While you're making that comment, throw us a like and subscribe for more from all of us at Triclaw Gaming. For now, stay safe and goodbye.